We are here with Matt Brackley, Senate candidate, a new candidate to the field. Matt and I just met earlier this week, I guess it was. Matt, how are you, man?
I'm doing really well. I'm doing really well.
Hey,
Less
I
than
really
3 weeks
appreciate you
out.
taking. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to do a little interview with us. It's just a nice way to get your information out to everybody. So, we got 5 questions to go through. I'd like to do the same 5 questions with all the candidates just to kind of make it fair, but knowing me, we'll probably go off on a bunch of tangents for this and that. But starting off, what district are you running for and where does it cover?
So I'm running for State Senate District 24. And so that includes all of the 10 towns and cities in Sagadahoc County, as well as Dresden in Lincoln County.
Yep.
So I'll name all the towns in case you don't know what county you're in. All right. We've got Arrowsic, Bath, Bowdoin, Bowdoinham, Dresden, Georgetown, Phippsburg, Richmond, Topsham, West Bath, and Woolwich.
There it is. Yeah, it's so the state divides it into, I think it's somewhere around 35 or 36,000 people in each district, and that's how it fell for us. So, question number 2: tell us a little bit about your background and why you're running for office.
Sure. I grew up. I was born in Maine. I grew up in the Franklin County area, up in New Vineyard.
Yep.
Moved down to West Bath in 2009, where I've lived ever since, except for a brief journey down to Houston, Texas. I was down there for just under 3 years. I went down there for work and rebounded back quickly because I love Maine. I genuinely do. I love the people here. I love the woods here, the fields, our clean air, our clean water. There's nowhere like home, and Maine is home for me. I'm an electrician. I've been licensed in 9 different states as a master electrician. I own my own business currently. We employ a little over 50 people. We're working in 6 states right now, as well as Singapore. So we're international.
That is awesome, man. That is 50 people. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. I went into business for myself in 2017, and we managed to grow and employ a lot of people and do a lot of cool projects. But other than work, I'm a dad. I'm a husband. We just had our 18-year anniversary in October. I have a beautiful wife, Ellen, and 3 beautiful kids. And I'm very active in the community. I teach an apprenticeship program at my company. I'm on the advisory board for the Bath Technical program. Very active with their electrical program. And I'm active in my church. I go to New City Church in Bath. And I don't know, I work a lot. I enjoy that. I spend a lot of time with my family, a lot of time with my community. So
that's awesome. Hey, so why are you running? I mean, you seem like a busy businessman. That you got you're a family man. You're involved in a lot of things. But what motivated you to run?
Well, for one thing, I heard a saying recently. I don't know who to attribute it to, but they said, if you want to get something done, ask somebody who's doing a lot of things. Yeah. And that kind of resonated with me. I do a lot of things. I have a capacity to do a lot of things. I have an amazing team that is always willing to rally around me and help me out, both my family, my team at work, people in my community. And people are hurting. People are hurting right now. I feel like our government's out of touch. I feel like the people that are representing us in Augusta and are representing us in Washington, D.C. are failing. And I think that we need some people that are plugged into the community and that are feeling the pain alongside with everybody else to go and just make some more common sense decisions and pick a better path for the people of Maine.
I like that. Yeah, earlier this week when we met, we talked a lot about that. I hear you there. Getting some pragmatic people that want to be the problem solvers are having more of those is always a great thing. And that's nothing against any other candidate. It's just you're throwing your hat in the ring for this, and I believe in that concept for sure. Question 3: what are the top 3 issues affecting Mainers right now that you look forward to working on if elected?
All right, it was hard to narrow it down to 3.
Right.
So I picked 3 broad things that I'm going to cover just briefly for you. The first one The first one is our state economy. We have a skyrocketing cost of living that is hurting all of us. Energy costs, heating costs, and grocery costs are out of control. Obviously, much of this is driven at the global and national level. However, there's a lot we can do to provide economic relief in the state legislature by lowering taxes and fees and by reducing unnecessary regulations. Maine is ranked the 3rd out of all 50 states as the highest tax state in the whole country. We're the 3rd highest tax state in the whole country. In contrast, we're ranked number 32 out of all 50 in median income. I don't know about you, but that math is not working, right? It's just straight up not good math. It doesn't make sense and it's not sustainable. We also need to look at, in regards to the economy, we need to take a hard look at our energy policies. As an electrical professional, I have a unique understanding of how power is generated and distributed. And we're making a lot of energy decisions that are based on an emotional narrative rather than facts-based and frankly a scientific approach, right? We really are, and it's sad to see people being confused in that regard. There's a ton of room for us to make improvement and for us to invest and develop affordable and sustainable energy resources for now and well into our future for our children and their children, right? And finally, in regards to point number 1, the economy, right?
Point number 1, sub point 3. Yeah, I love it.
That's right. Finally, in regards to our economy, we need to find ways to reward working people and to incentivize people to go back to work. We've had a lot of people leave the workforce for a variety of reasons. But right now we're ranked 43rd out of 50 states with regards to workforce participation. And year over year from 2021, we're down over 1.5%. So we're going in the wrong direction, right? Work is rewarding and it's good for us, right? It's good for our society. And we need to return to productivity. It's going to help all of us, every single one of us.
Awesome.
Second issue.
Yes.
Second issue, yes. Education. So I'm hearing from a lot of parents and grandparents in our district about students, their kids and their grandkids that are hurting. They lost a lot of classroom time over the last 2 years with our extensive shutdowns due to COVID, right? And regardless about how you feel about that, these kids are not going to get that time back, right? They're not going to get that classroom time back and set them back. In addition, controversial theories about sexuality and gender are increasingly being taught as settled facts rather than the opinions of teachers and academics. We've had multiple instances of books portraying graphic sexual content made available to very young kids in Maine schools. People don't like this. People in our district are pretty upset about this, and a lot of them are quiet. A lot of them are afraid to speak out. But I'll tell you, knocking doors and hearing from people, this is a big issue, and it's hurting our kids. It really is. There's a war raging across our country and our state, and it really boils down to who has the right to teach kids these things, right? Is it the state school system or is it the parents? And I want everyone to know that I'm going to come down on the side of the parents on this, right? I think that I think the kids are given to parents. I think that they are to take the primary responsibility in their social education, in their sexual education. And so I'm going to advocate for high quality academic education for our children. And also I'm going to advocate to allow our kids to be kids and to enjoy the wonder and innocence of childhood. And I think I have a lot of support on that issue, and it's something that I feel strongly about. Number three.
All right. I was waiting for more sub points, but no, that's good.
No. I try to keep this reasonable. No one wants to watch a half-hour video, right? And it was hard to narrow this down to just 3 things, but the third thing that I really think about and that I'm hearing from people about is crime and addiction, right? Maine is long. We've enjoyed a climate in Maine of safety, right? We've been a safe haven, one of the safest places in the world, and one of the safest states in the country. but we're moving in the wrong direction. And again, it's an issue that's really targeting our youth. It's hurting them. We're having a lot of overdoses, a lot of depression, a lot of crime. And even in rural Maine, where I live and where a lot of my constituents live, we're already starting to see it and feel it, and we got to do something about it. So I will support local law enforcement. I think that we need to return respect to those guys and gals that are in law enforcement, and I think that we need to make sure that we return to law and order and do better in this area. We're losing our kids, and a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are afraid. And we can do a lot better. We need a different focus there.
Awesome.
Those
so
are my 3 issues.
that's so we got economy, education, and crime and addiction.
Crime and addiction, right?
Yeah.
Crime and addiction. Yeah.
And that addiction piece is a really interesting one, because I know the other night we talked about workforce needs and that sort of thing, and trying to help these people that have dealt with that, and how do we get them engaged? How do we get them into the schools to get the education that they need? How do we get them into the workforce? And
it's a complex problem, right? I mean, it's I'm not pretending that I have all of the answers, but I know one thing that we've got to shut down the supply of these very dangerous and addictive drugs, right? And then of course we need to help the people that are caught up in this wicked snare, this trap that addiction brings, and approach it with compassion and all of that, and get them back to healthy, right?
Compassion is such a key word, because sometimes when this conversation comes up, you hear people blaming those, and it's like, no, we got to get to the answer, get to the solution, get past, because you don't know what their story is, you don't know what led them there, and we shouldn't be judging each other like that. Let's just
and we've all had people close to us, right? Mm-hmm. that we care about that have fallen prey to this, and frankly, I've had 2 people recently over the last couple of years that I knew pretty well as a kid, and my age and a little younger, that unfortunately have overdosed. But I know them. I care. Like, these people they're caught in a trap, and we got to help them.
Love it. Yeah. I love it. Hey, just 2 final questions. One of them is, if voters could only know 2 things about you before they fill out their ballot, what would those 2 things be?
Just 2 things about Matt, huh?
Just 2 things, whatever you feel like.
Number 1, I will represent you tirelessly from a standpoint of unwavering principle and conviction. I'm not sold out to any party. I am running as a Republican. But I will vote independently. I'm not going to just vote the party line when it's not in the best interest of my constituents. I think that we need, our 2-party system is flawed at best, right? And we need some independent thinkers. And I pledge to all my constituents, I will, and all the voters in my district, I will be an independent thinker that looks at things from as many angles as I possibly can, and then votes my conscience and my conviction. Yep. Secondly, I will represent you with patience and consideration of those who hold views that are different than my own. I truly believe that a lot of the division in our state, our country, our community is absolutely fabricated. We have much more in common than we can unite around than what we're divided over. We really truly do, and we just need to view each other as humans, and as flawed humans, right? Me, you, even Corey, right? I've heard that he has a flaw or 2,
plenty,
right? But we all do, right? And so, over the course of the campaign, I've learned so much from talking to people with different viewpoints. Right? It's one of the coolest things about this whole thing. It's exhausting. It's crazy to put yourself out there, right? I'm just a regular guy, but I have been blessed. I've been blessed with conversations with so many people, and hearing their concerns and their ideas, and I want to continue to do that. I pledge that I will continue to listen, and that I'll always promote a respectful dialogue.
Well, I'll tell you that's the 4th or 5th time you've mentioned talking to people and hearing what they want and representing their views. And I think that's just the best way to approach, running for office. And I do think, no one in our area, but, especially nationwide, I think some of our legislators have forgotten that you're there represent the people there. And, you know, and even if your views might not match up with what they want, you're there to represent them. So that's wonderful to hear. Last thing, Bud, if people want to find out more about you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Go to my Facebook page. It's Matt Brackley from Maine State Senate District 24. And if you're not a Facebook person, I got back on Facebook for the campaign. It's one of the banes of our existence, but it's also amazing, right? We grew up without that technology, but we have it now, and it's a double-edged sword. But yeah, follow me on Facebook, Matt Brackley from Maine State Senate District 24. And guess what? If that doesn't work for you, you can call me or you can text me. I'll give you my personal cell right now. It's 207, of course. 837-1238. So 207-837-1238. Give me a call or shoot me a text and I'll get back to you.
Oh, Matt, this has been great, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much for doing that. And yeah, thanks for being here.
No, thank you, Corey, and thanks for everything you're doing for a small business with the chamber. And I actually got to talk to you about that. I was talking to some people at the event the other day, and I think that I probably am missing out by not being involved in the chamber in Brunswick and Bath. So,
well, we would love to have you on, and we can definitely talk more about that, bud. Hey,
awesome.
Thanks so much.
Of course. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.